Hello and welcome to Talking Europe. I'm Armand Georgian in Paris. The pandemic has brought inequality into sharp relief. When it comes to dealing with the virus and with economic recovery, disparities are obvious between richer and poorer countries and between different regions within the same country. My guest today works with EU member states to ensure full and effective use of EU funds. This is a crucial instrument in the EU's toolbox as the EU tries to bounce back from the crisis. She is Elisa Ferreira, the Commissioner for Cohesion Policy. Before joining the von der Leyen Commission, she had held senior posts at the Bank of Portugal, in the Portuguese government, and she has also been a member of the European Parliament. Commissioner Ferreira, thank you very much for being my guest today.
Thank you.
There is now a budget deal at the European Council which unlocks the Recovery Fund and the Just Transition Fund. What does all this mean for you?
Well, it's very good. It's very good because the Commission has proposed a set of new instruments in order to be able to relaunch the economy. And you are absolutely right in your introduction when you mentioned that, yes, there are disparities in development in the different regions and member states, and they become worse every time there is a crisis. This crisis was a very special one, so the drop in the economy is not comparable with anything that we have a memory of, with the exception of the Second World War, and it will affect more from an economic perspective. I don't disregard, but it's a big loss of human lives. But on top of that, there is a very serious drop in jobs and in the economy. So we have to relaunch the future. And we have to relaunch it taking into account that we have to be more cohesive. We cannot leave anybody behind from according to social backgrounds or regional place where the person was born. We have got to be more intelligent, more green, more digital, and look forward. And for this, we needed the funds, and now we have the hope that we'll have them very soon.
Of course, the question in all of this is who should pay. Richer countries, should they pay more? And I just want to show our viewers a tweet which you sent during budget negotiations this summer, which was commented on very widely. And this tweet says, "One graphic is worth 1,000 negotiating hours." So I'm just showing this tweet now for our viewers, which shows that northern members of the EU benefit most from the single market, while at the same time we can see that working hours are longest in places like Greece or in southeastern Europe, for example. Were you essentially trying to say that northerners are too thrifty, too tight with their money, and should be pulling their weight more? Is that what you actually think?
What I was saying, and I still say, is first that it's a bit absurd when the budget of the European Union represents about 1% of our common wealth, of the richness that we have, that we don't understand that we did with this 1%, with this project, we have created an incredible endeavor, an incredible area where you can compete freely. And so it's a bit absurd when we expect to receive from the budget what equivalent, same amount that you put in. If you receive from the budget same thing that you receive, then there is no point for a budget, because the budget is by definition a kind of redistribution.
Okay, so some sort of wealth distribution, I think, is necessary, is the conclusion of what you're saying. But I just want to take a quick look at a report now by our own Alix Le Bourdon, in which the European Social Fund is being used to train job seekers to become organic vegetable farmers and environmentally sustainable gardeners. I know that European Social Fund is not used strictly speaking, but it does raise bigger questions about EU funding. So I want to look at that now, and we'll get your reactions afterwards.
The goal of the Labourage Partnership is to train job seekers by teaching them how to become an organic vegetable farmer or an environmentally sustainable gardener. The vegetables that we grow are sold to individual consumers. We harvest them once a week and we assemble vegetable baskets. There's an assortment of organic and seasonal vegetables, and we do home deliveries.
Hi, this is for the North Grocery. My name's Olivier, I'm a trainee here. I think there are a couple missing though here. It was important for me to take this environmentally friendly step, to be conscious of how important it is to be able to grow and sell local produce. We have to change things like that, and we have to sell quality produce too.
The project that we've created receives support from the European Social Fund because we're helping retrain people who are a long way from the job market. Thanks to the ESF, we were able to work with an extra 60 young people. Unfortunately for us, we learned that this project won't be renewed beyond 2020. So what I'd like to say to the Commissioner is that at a time when Europe is taking clear measures with the Green Deal, we have the equipment, the team, the know-how and the desire to continue. What can be done to allow this project to continue?
Et l'envie de poursuivre le projet. Qu'est-ce qui pourrait être mis en place pour que ce projet perdure?
So, Commissioner Ferreira, we're saying that that particular project is not going to be continued. It's going to be cut off. Are you worried that your projects also will be cut because of this whole economic crisis?
No, I don't think so. We are. I don't know about the specific project you are referring to, but what I can tell you and assure you is that the funds will continue. Hopefully, I mean, we have still some stages to go through in negotiation process, but there are positive steps, and so I think we are more close to the end of this procedural phase. But from 21 to 27, there will be funds. Funds, social fund, regional fund, cohesion fund. But on top of this, we have more means now in order to stimulate the reaction out of the crisis. We are already operating, and sometimes people don't know it, but a lot of the masks, ventilators, support to part-time work, support to small and medium companies. This is being financed by the structural funds. And by the national envelopes that were not yet completely allocated to specific projects. We created a very exceptional rule, and so they can be transferred. And they are being transferred. Until now, we have about 18 billion of euros that are being spent in this emergency kind of actions. This kind of project is going to continue until 2023. With a new name is REACT. And there will be also a major project, a major program to support reforms in member states that include renovation of buildings or can even touch upon complete reform and renovation of the public administration of certain countries.
Okay.
So there is a big margin of maneuver. The problem is what you want to do with the money.
Okay, I need to ask you something about mismanagement of some of these funds. You told my colleagues on the French channel that fraud represents about 1%, I think that's right, of regional and cohesion funding.
Less than 0.7.
0.7, that's still a few billion euros, though, because if you look at the regional and cohesion policy envelope for 2014 to 2020, that's 351 billion euros. Less than 1% of that is still around 3 billion euros. That's a lot of fraud of taxpayers' money, isn't it?
I'm talking about 0.76 or something like that in relation to the regional fund. Not in relation to the overall amount that you have been that you quoted, but even in relation to that, we go through all the procedures. And Olaf, yes, it is a lot of money, but you have got. Even if you have a factory, there is a small percentage of products that come faulty because that's part of the process. So this doesn't mean that we have any sort of compromise or relaxation in relation to this. We go till the end of all the criminal procedures. There are court procedures, and it's not tolerable. This doesn't mean that if we detect this fraud that we sit and look at it. No, we go through all the procedures, criminal procedures, and often, in most cases, we can be reimbursed of that money. I'm just saying that when we detect fraud, this represents this amount. And then there is the whole procedure through courts and through Olaf and all that punishes and asks for reimbursement and excludes from using the fund. So there is but it is this dimension. It's not something that can be generalized at all. And we are we are even more strict now with the new amounts, because there will be more money now to be managed than in the past.
Okay, we'll have to leave it there.
So zero fraud tolerance.
Okay, thank you so much, Commissioner Ferreira. That's all we have time for. Thank you for being my guest on Talking Europe. Don't go away, because I'll be back with part 2 of the programme after a short break.